Hello, good day, beautiful people. I am the Inspirational Lady Noble 365 Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I trust you will love this vibe. And everything you need to know about me is in the description below. This could be past, present, or future, you or someone around you. So take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. This is a general read. This is not a personal read. If you like a personal read, check out the description below, and I'll be happy to assist you with doing so. Okay? Keep in mind that tarot is a tool, it is not the final rule. So it's a good idea to have an empty cup when you are on Lady Noble's channel and you really want to see what's up. Hope you all are doing wonderful, feeling lovely and bubbly. I'll be with you shortly in 1 second here, collective. Thank you for all your kindness and support. Thank you for being a wonderful, good sport. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, today I have a message. I've been getting a lot of messages and downloads, and lately I've been, sharing more instead of sharing less, just doing what I'm spiritually guided to do. And we hear a lot in tarot, we hear a lot in life and in conversations about generational curses, about people experiencing trauma. I speak about it a lot on my channel about people experiencing trauma, healing yourself, how you need to surrender, all these things. I'll just speak for myself that I have mentioned on my channel. 1 second. I have spoken about it a lot. Others have spoken about it a lot, not just in tarot or social media. These topics are brought up in life, about different things that occur in a person's upbringing, in their childhood, throughout adulthood, different experiences, things that have impacted them. Maybe you have been handled in an inappropriate way in your family. Maybe you're from a family who are into sweeping things under the rug and not discussing the problems at hand. And maybe could be someone who has had to find a way to move forward in your life without addressing the elephant in the room. Okay, so Spirit was put in my heart to speak on this topic, and to trust and know and believe. We all have free will. Each and every day of our lives that we wake up. Okay, and I always speak on focusing on the positive rather than the negative. And this is because, whatever has occurred to you in the past, doesn't matter how hurtful, painful, or devastating it may have impacted you, you cannot get that time back. And so when I convey that in the message, it's not to be cruel, it's not to minimize anyone's pain, but it's just to encourage you. And Spirit wants you to know that you have to find a way to move forward in your life. You do not want to keep the pattern moving in your family in a particular direction. And this doesn't have to be you maybe getting into tarot or maybe getting into spirituality. Maybe that's not for you. You could be someone who wants to join a church, and that is okay. You might want to become a Jehovah's Witness, and that is okay. You might want to be Catholic, and that is okay. To each his own. We have free will to live the life that we desire. We have free will to find healing in our own way that works for us. So when it comes to the healing process, Spirit wants me to convey that to you, to find what works for you. And that's why I always say on my channel, and I mean it wholeheartedly, and they want me to share this before I even touch any cards. I honestly mean it wholeheartedly that everyone is welcome on this channel. It does not matter what your belief system is, because in whatever way that you have chosen to find resolve in your life, you are entitled to that. And no one can tell you what is right for you. I stand 10 toes down on that, and I respect it because it is pointless and a waste of energy to be someone who wants to force or make someone feel that their choice of living, how they choose to live, their sexual preference, who they choose to love, where how they want to dress. We can go on and on. It is a waste of time and energy to spend my life. And hopefully you feel the same way. If not, that's okay too. I'm trying to convince anyone to be any kind of particular way because I feel it's the best way. You have to do what is best for you, collective. And this is full circle. I'm picking up on the energy. You may be from a family who maybe follow traditions and trends. And guess what? That is okay. You guys are welcome on the channel too. You have to do what works for you in this life. Maybe grandma did go to church and auntie and them did go to church, but maybe you're finding that a church home isn't working for you. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with Christianity. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the cathedral. That just means that it's not for you. This could be anything. You could be maybe you're from a family or lineage of Jehovah Witness, and maybe you found it doesn't work for you. Well, that is fine. And so Spirit is saying, don't look for approval in the way that you find resolve. Spirit is saying, collective, don't ever look for approval in the way that you find resolve. And what I'm saying is, whatever you choose in life that makes you happy, that brings you peace, that gives you confidence, and you're thriving and surviving and you're loving it, it's not about nobody outside of you. Do not look for approval in the way you find resolve in your life. If you are part of the LGBT community, and if I forgot any letters, y'all too, do not look for approval in the way that you choose to find love. Spirit put it on my heart and wanted me to convey this and told me don't touch any cards, to just speak right now. It's time. It's time to really, with all the dismantling that is happening worldwide in front of our face, we now know what is real, what isn't. We're no longer under an illusion. Even those who have chose to turn their back or turn their cheek and call things a conspiracy theory, they no longer can call it a conspiracy theory. Everything is out in the open, collective. Everything is out in the open. There is no there's no cloudy vision. I'm hearing, I can see clearly now. Da, 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 da. I don't know the words. It's going to be a nice, sunshiny day. Yeah, we can see clearly now. And Spirit is saying, feel free to live your life. And I mean what I say. It is none of our business. It really isn't, because you never know where a person may be looking for peace in their life. They may be looking for healing. They may be looking for some kind of solace in their life. Whatever it is, that is between them and the divine. That is between them and their belief system. We all wake up with ourselves. When we transition, we will perish with ourselves. So it's a waste of energy, again, to put so much attention on the choices that somebody else's chooses to live in their life. If you want to inspire somebody, wonderful. If you want to encourage someone, wonderful. But just as we don't want anyone coming into our lives trying to dictate and tell us what to do. Spirit is saying the message is, be free to be yourself, collective. Whatever your belief system is okay. Whoever you choose to love, it's okay. Whatever changes you want to make in your life, it's okay. Be yourself, be loud, and be proud. I think that's going to be the title of this. Be yourself, be loud, and be proud. And the honest God truth is, at the end of the day, the middle and the beginning, those who are for you will be there for you. There is no need to battle or be in friction. And there is no need to be looking for acceptance from people who have not learned or allowed themselves to be accepted. There are people who don't even love and like themselves, but will go around passing judgment or trying to dictate someone else's lives when they have things in their own closet that they need to organize. Spirit is saying, do not waste your currency, which is your time here on planet Earth, trying to look for approval, trying to be accepted, wanting someone to applaud for you. You really have to be your own cheerleader. I just said this in a previous read. Each and every day of your life. If you are relying on acceptance and validation from people outside of you, you're going to be constantly disappointed. You're setting yourself up to be constantly disappointed, constantly surprised, constantly experiencing tower moments. Oh, I can't believe they did this. Happiness comes from within. Love comes from within. And when the inner work is done, it will reflect and attract and magnetize the right people, places, things, and opportunities to your life. So the more authentic you are with yourself and original you are with yourself, the more happier you will be. This is like choosing to go to college to get a degree. And choosing a major that maybe someone in your family wants you to pursue. You're choosing a career because somebody, auntie, uncle, grandma wants you to pursue a particular career. And it may be something else in the back of your mind. And you're like, look, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to study English literature. I really want to be a doctor, or I really want to be a dentist, or I really want to be an optometrist. I really want to study oncology. You have other ideas of how you want to live your life, but you're afraid to pursue them because you're concerned about the opinions of others. Opinions are like ashtrays. I have to watch my language. So I speak in metaphors. I'm very comical and everything else on this channel. So let people have their opinions. We do not need to seek validation. It will be a struggle and a lot of stress. And it also creates a wedge between you and your divine purpose. We all have unique gifts and purposes and gifts that we are given. But, living a life that's based on the approval of other people, wanting people to shake their head yes and constantly applaud you, will just draw an increasing wedge between you and your divine purpose, the reason of your existence. Part of your, I call it contractual agreement that you have made to come here on planet Earth, but you have forgotten about that agreement. You have forgotten that you have chosen to come here. You have forgotten that you chose your family. You chose that lineage, and you may have experienced some things that was uncomfortable or you felt was done wrong to you, but it doesn't mean you have to stay in that energy. Once you become an adult, you have free will to move forward and break free and perish from that family, no longer deal or interact. And the things that you learned that may have impacted you, or experienced that you may have impacted you in a negative way, you can change those things. You don't have to stay because they are family. You are not indebted to any person, place, or thing that does not serve you for your highest good, that is not conducive to your well-being. So Spirit is saying, stand in your authenticity. It's time to be real and be honest. A yes is a yes, a no is a no, and if it ain't for you, collective, it's time for it to go. Straight up. Spirit is just saying it's time to move forward. I'm going to pull a rune card. Okay. Give me a rune card for the collective about standing in their authenticity. Okay. Not seeking validation. Okay. And you'll be able to live the life that you desire. You'll be able to manifest better. You'll be happier. Like attracts like. You'll be able to magnetize the right people, places, and opportunity towards you. When you are being original, when you are being authentic, and life is easier when you're being yourself. When you're not pretending, when you're not pump faking, being who you are, not being ashamed of who you are. Okay, not being ashamed. Okay. Okay, the rune symbol I have is Gebo. We have Gebo, collective. It says gifts, both in the sense of sacrifice and of generosity, indicating balance. All matters in relation to exchanges, including contracts. I just mentioned contractual agreement, personal relationships, and partnerships. Gifts. I just mentioned gifts. Okay. All right. Gifts, and generosity, people being generous to you, the sense of both in the sense of sacrificing, you sacrificing to receive the life that you desire, but also being able to receive generosity from others, bringing balance and restoration into your life. But in order to have access to receive generosity and to meet the right people and opportunity, you have to be real, truthful, and authentic to yourself. It is a job and this is a challenge to be fake and to be hard, not hard, to be fake and to be just not yourself, excuse me. It's a job. It's easier to just be true to yourself. If something does not resonate for you, it's not for you. If someone is not for you, let them be not for you. Do not try to force yourself to be in spaces and places where you know that the energy is not for you, where you know whatever the group or the crowd has going on is not your flair, it's not your level, it's not your interest. You do not have to always be turned up and turned on for everybody. Spirit is saying you do not have to always show up. You don't have to, you're not socially obligated, collective. So it's time to be real and be honest. Because you don't want to miss the boat. You don't want to miss out on opportunities that are for you, that are meant for you, because you're seeking validation or you want mamas and them approval. Maybe you don't want to go to college. Maybe there's something else you have in mind. Okay. you know uh Maybe you find out you're coming out the closet, you have a different sexual interest, love interest. You okay? You may, this could be a lot of things, and yes, I'm talking about it all. You may want to get into a polyamorous relationship. Okay. Maybe you have an addiction and you're ready to start your sobriety, and so it means you have to change your environment. Okay. And this could be sobriety regarding any kind of vice or any kind of addiction. Okay. All right. So, yes, I get the downloads of things that people don't want to talk about, things that people are ashamed of, things that are in the back of your mind, things that people want to say, but they're scared to say when they're in a room of a group, in a group of people. I get those kind of downloads on this channel. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. It's not to insult anyone, encourage anyone, or discourage anyone, but to encourage you. This channel is created only to intrigue the ideas, that lay dormant within you, okay, personally. And may you find a spark within yourself and pivot in your own direction that is for your highest good. That is for your highest good, not mine, but yours. Everything on this channel is spiritually led. And so Spirit is saying it's time to be real and not fake. Let it be. Let the people talk. Let them gossip, let them gather, let them talk. But meanwhile, in the meantime, in between time, the divine wants you to focus on, uplifting yourself, pouring into yourself, working on those gifts and ideas that you have, things you want to build and create. We cannot control the opinions of others of how they feel about us, nor should we be concerned. It's none of our business. And they're telling me to repeat, it would take a lot of energy. Just imagine, collective, if each and every one of us spent every day of our life, and the first thing we say to ourselves when we wake up, oh, I wonder what the world think about me today. There's nothing we can do, and it's time to surrender it, and it's nothing you should want to do. If you don't want to be part of a group or you don't like what someone has going on, you should be okay with just voicing that, not being confrontational, not becoming hostile. It's a no, and not even explaining yourself. Let that person know it's going to be a no for me, and carry on, and simply just carry on. Okay. Yeah, so this is the Ace of Cups. So Spirit does not want you fighting, with receiving your overflow with the Ace of Cups energy here. This is joy, this is new love, this is creativity, but you don't have to fight. It doesn't have to be a tug of war for you. You do have a say so in your own life. And this reading is coming through strong. I didn't even know this was going there, but Spirit wants somebody to know you have a say so. This is your life you're living, especially if you're in school. Look, we know college is costly and we know it takes work to hit them books. Look, the books are costly, but check this out. Come on now, to really obtain a degree based on what your family wants and you're unhappy, you better let them know you're not interested. And if they're paying for your education and they're threatening to not Look, you better get you some grants and financial aid and make it do what it do. Why spend your life being unhappy and miserable and being asserting yourself in environments that you're not in agreement of? You need to be where you are celebrated, not being tolerated, or not around people who are going to look at you funny because you're not doing what they're doing. You're not speaking how they're speaking. You're not saying what they are saying. Be you. Be you. Okay. The next card we have here is the Five of Pentacles. Yes, don't be concerned with being left out. I'm picking out with somebody being concerned. You're not indebted to your family. Once you become an adult, it's time to move on, especially if the family is toxic, especially if they are influencing you in a negative way. It is okay to move on. It's okay to love people from over there. And you can also respect them from over there. There are ties that can stay connected, but there are ties that need to be severed for good, especially if they are unhealthy. Okay. And so maybe you are concerned. Yes, somebody is concerned with the Four of Pentacles about being left out, and the five. This could be something financial. Maybe someone in your family is helping you pay your bills. This could be college tuition. Maybe they're paying your car note, your insurance. Spirit is saying, in order for you to be happy, because I'm picking up you're very unhappy. You want their assistance. You appreciate it, but you don't like the flack you get behind it. You know how someone assists you or help you, and then they talk a lot of smack about you, or every time you come around, it's they're bringing it up. It's like it's being thrown in your face. Spirit is saying, take time to make the necessary changes in your life. If this means you picking up maybe a part-time job, or maybe minimizing something in your life, okay, go pay cash for a car. Maybe the car note isn't in the budget right now. Do what you can afford and be honest with yourself. There's something about you having peace. As long as you have a place to stay, if it's not in your budget to have that 2026 vehicle, we'll get something that is within your budget. Okay. Yeah, Spirit is saying make the changes that are necessary. So you could be from a family that is financially secure, and they may want you to be successful, but the way that they are going about it is very stressful and it's burdensome to you. But Spirit is conveying that it's possible for you to be successful, whether this is college, if you're not in school. This could just be your lifestyle. Maybe your family is of a particular cultural practice or religion or spiritual beliefs, and maybe you don't agree with it, or there's some kind of tradition you're not following, and maybe you're being like harassed constantly. You better do this, or we'll disown you. I'm picking up kind of energy, or we're not going to pay for this. Spirit is saying it is possible for you to thrive and survive on your own. It is possible for you to still be happy and be successful in whatever way that you desire, without the assistance of your family. Now, you don't have to hate your family now, or be disrespectful towards them. But Spirit is saying there is a way for you to thrive without you feeling like you have to kiss their behind just to get their assistance. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I have to cover this card. I got to cover this card. I got to cover this up, collective. But this is a star card. Okay, she has nothing on. I got to cover it up. But this star card is about you being your best, shining your star like the star that you are. But the more that you condition yourself to seek validation or be in situations where you're seeking approval, from people, family, friends, lovers, okay? This could be anyone, a community, a social group. It will hinder you from, shining the star that you are. It will hinder you from your divine purpose. It will hinder you from being balanced and being able to experience this new love with the Ace of Cups. You don't want to be at a tug of war when it comes to the star that you are. You don't want to be at a tug of war. You want to be able to shine that. I didn't mean to show that. You want to be able to shine the star that you are. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to shine the star that you are. You don't want to dim your light. And who wants to live a life of being unhappy? Who wants to live a life of being unhappy? Mm-mm. We are not put here to duplicate and imitate each other. And there are so many people who actually believe this. that you're supposed to do everything one way and there's no other way. If you don't, go to my church, then you must not believe in God. If you don't worship a holiday, you must be an evil person. I could go on and on. There are so many people, if you don't get married by so and so age, there's something wrong with you. If you don't do this, there are so many people who actually feel that we're put here to imitate and duplicate each other. And message that is far from the truth. We are not put here to imitate and duplicate each other. We have our own unique divine gifts and opportunity and favor that is given to us and our own mission to fulfill. And so if you're seeking validation from others and approval, it just creates a wedge from you reaching your purpose and from you reaching happiness, because I'm picking up on someone who's just not satisfied. Like I appreciate it, but I really don't like this. Maybe it works for you, but it don't work for me. And people have a habit, if you don't believe in what they believe in, like the question, if somebody asks you, do you have a church home? And you say no. The next question behind that is why? Now, why would you ask a person why? I believe that full grown adults have free will. And if a person chooses to go to any kind of church, cathedral, hall, mosque, they are entitled to do it, and they have free will, meaning they will go on their own. People, that's a good example. They will ask you, do you have a church home? And if you say no, they will look at you like something wrong, and then they follow with why. So that is judgment within itself. That is judgment. That's a wonderful example. Thank you, Spirit. Wonderful example. Yeah. So how people, may pass judgment onto each other or try to demonize or condemn a person. Yeah. And that's also projection. That's projection. Is criticizing. It's belittling. And you're also passing judgment. You're basically saying, if you're not, there's something wrong if you're not doing what I'm doing. And that's far from the truth. The essence of the Most High is within all of us. And that's in the Bible. If you read the Bible and you decode the Bible, which some people aren't aware of. When you read the Bible, you must decode what you are reading. You don't just read it literally, but to each his own. People have free will. People have free will. But that's a good example of that. So that whatever this is that you are doing, it could be church for you. Maybe you want to change. Maybe you want to relocate. I know some people change their cathedrals that they go to from time to time. And maybe you just need to just do so. And if anybody asks, I'm picking that up. Hey, I did this because I want to, but don't allow anyone to question you either. If you're not comfortable with being questioned or it bothers you, let the person know that's asking the question, because that's what I do. And let it be. That's what I do, and let it be. This could also be location. This could be a place of residence. Maybe you are someone who lives on a budget. Maybe, you live, in an urban area. I'll say urban. Okay. Maybe you have a family or someone, family member or someone who criticize you or maybe nags at you. I don't know when you're going to move from so and so. This location is this and this location is that. And, basically, you're doing the best that you can. You appreciate your home. You're grateful for your home. But you could have people around you, family or friends, who are very critical and judgmental of, where you live, the area. Maybe they call it the hood or however they refer to it. This could be something else. Maybe you're tired of people nagging and bothering you and telling you where you should live and what you should do with your life. And Spirit is saying to, you could possibly need to check these people. When I say check them, just letting them know, it's none of your business what I do. And this is what I do. I'm here because this is what I do. What is it to you? So, and also to keep in mind that if you are dealing with anyone socially in your family, whether you're dating, this could also be someone that you're dating. That's very critical. There's nothing wrong with a person offering advice, but when a person is choosing to criticize your belief system, somewhere such as where you live, what you drive, maybe let's just say what you can afford. You're living according to what's in your budget for you, and that's your business. So if someone is choosing to criticize this, Spirit is saying, first of all, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, collective. People know what they're doing, and they know what they're saying to you. It's not like they're unaware. It's not like really they really don't need to be checked. Spirit is saying you can check them if you're going to choose to keep dealing with them. But Spirit is saying these are people you need not to even interact with. These are possibly people that who are just showing you who they are, and it's okay that they show you who they are. But these are people, if this is a work situation, we understand you may can't terminate them. But these are people you need not to engage with, meaning if they were to invite you somewhere, it would be a no, because you have nothing in common. No one wants to be around someone who is nagging them or who is critical of who they choose to be. No, I'll repeat, no one wants to be around anyone who is critical, especially constantly, of who they are or who they choose to be. So, Spirit wants you to be mindful of that. You don't want to live a life where you feel like you are in prison, like you can't be yourself. Even if this is a family member, this could be a social group, this could be a lover, this could be a spouse. There are people who have spouses. There are people who are married to people who are very critical of them, and they're tolerant of that. And guess what? To each his own. When they get tired, I guess they will leave that situation. But who wants to live a life feeling like they can't escape and they're so unhappy and so miserable? That's a lot to carry for a person. To wake up and know that the person on the side of you must not like you because they're constantly critiquing you or criticizing you is coming up. They have a problem with everything you do, or they want things to be a certain way. There's no such thing as perfect. You can make things better, you can enhance your life, you can make preparations, but the pandemic showed us all and taught us that you can make all the plans you want. There are folks who are tapping into those 401ks at this time. Let's talk about it. You got to do what you got to do so you can make plans and preparations. It's a wonderful thing. Have you a nest egg? Have you a savings? But things could change. No one is perfect. Those who thought they had their thing in the bag, I have this and this put away and this and this. But now with inflation and the economy having its ups and downs, those who thought they had their thing in the bag is having to tap into the bag just for survival. Come on, Spirit, let's talk about it. Real talk. And when I say thought they had their thing in the bag, I'm talking of people who are of an arrogant nature, who possibly may have looked down on others throughout their life because they thought that they had it all together. But the pandemic showed us that, look, anything can happen at any time. Life will show you that. So it's better to rely more on the spiritual than these physical things anyway. Okay, because these physical things will perish. They're not sustainable to the soul. They can be destroyed and taken away from you, removed at any given time. So it's okay to enjoy having beautiful, nice things, home, car, money, trips, jewelry. But those are material things. And we know material wealth is illusional gain. So this doesn't mean not to enjoy your life. This doesn't mean, I'm not saying not to purchase the things you want. This means not to allow it to navigate and control you to the point where you feel you want to control everyone else around you, trying to make people feel that they are inferior and that you are superior, when we know, those material things does not define that. Okay. So it's a wonderful idea to have a fine-tuned connection with the spiritual rather than the physical. Enjoy life, pursue, purchase, and experience all the beautiful things you desire, but don't allow it to move you and control you where you are allowing those things to be your God, where you're allowing those things for you to, you're idolizing them, you're worshiping them. It's nice to have a nice bag if you're into designer bags, but don't allow it to control you. So much so, where you're in the ego, you're saturated in egotistical behavior and also actions towards those who are around you. You want to release the delusions. And I like this delusions here, because as I speak about the dismantling worldwide, here on planet Earth, the delusions are no more. I can see clearly now. We can see clearly now. There is nothing hidden. And in my opinion, there's never ever was anything hidden. It's all out in the open. It all depends on what frequency you're on. Where are you, vibration wise? That's just my opinion. You may have a different one, and that's okay. But I believe collective, I don't, nothing's hidden. It's about where you're at. Are you doing the work and what frequency that you're on? Because nothing is hidden. Nothing is hidden at all. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, so yeah, this may be a social group. Okay, we have Freemason here, secret society. This may be a social group, okay, as well. Maybe you don't want to be part of the social group. Maybe you're vocal and boisterous about not being part of the social group as well, okay. Or maybe you are part of the group, and maybe in meetings, things that you're not in agreement on, you would like to convey your interest or how you feel about their decision, but you're not. There's a lot of holding back energy in this read here. Someone who's holding back what they want to say, how they want to express themselves in life in different areas. This reading here is conveying that very clearly. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And so it's very important to stand in your authenticity, because it's all about, how you show up, for yourself, how you show up for yourself, how you show up in life. Okay. Yeah. Social oppression. See that? Social oppression. You don't want to be oppressed. You don't want to live a life where, you see the mouth is covered. Social oppression, where you can't be you. It's no fun. It's no fun being part of the group if no one is going to accept, or even, what, they don't have to accept. Just listen to your ideas. Just listening, it's no fun, and it's a pointless endeavor. Okay? It's a pointless endeavor. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have victim here. We have injustice. We have perpetrator. It says injustice overturn. I'm going to read them all. Okay. Payback or revenge. So there could be some injustice going on that you're not in agreement with, and you want to speak up, but you're holding back. You're holding all this back, and it's making you feel some kind of way. I'm getting a lot of different energies of suppressed energy, especially in social environments. You have so much you want to say, but you just don't. And you're concerned. You're concerned about what the people are going to think about you. You're concerned about, will you be accepted? Will you be accepted if you speak up? If you be yourself? Will they like you? Will they try to sabotage you? You're concerned with these things, okay? But there could have been a lot of injustice that you have experienced, or people around you have experienced, and you're not in agreement. And you could also not want to be part. There's something here about not wanting to be part of some kind of injustice that is taking place. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's truly, this energy is here because truly we are taught that being alone is a negative thing. Um, you know, no one is never alone. And we're taught it, it's programmed into our system to look at it as a negative. to condemn it. There's something wrong. If you're at a restaurant, you see a person eating along, you assume that they're sad, you assume they're going through something. There are people who really love to be alone. It doesn't mean that they don't have family or friends. It doesn't mean that they're sad or they're in a bad mood. There are people who know how to utilize their solitude, and it's not a negative, and they're not in depression. There are people who really know how to take themselves out to a nice restaurant and have a dinner and maybe even wine by themselves and have a good time. There are people who will take themselves to the movie theater. I can go on and on. And I'm pretty sure there's people who will take themselves shopping. We ain't got to talk about that, male or female. And so it's about your perception of how you perceive life, Spirit is saying. Be free to be yourself. The life that you are perceiving now, you're unhappy. That energy is here, and it's time for you to be vocal, but also Spirit wants you to make changes. Don't just speak up and not make any changes. If you know something is not for you, then you need to work on doing something different. Find what works for you. If it's a social group, you need to make it known you no longer want to be part of that. If there's something going on where there's injustice, people are being mistreated, there are victims, you need to separate yourself from that. Maybe this is something you just need to remove yourself, okay? I'm also picking up you may be afraid that someone is going to receive some kind of repercussion for injustice, okay? And someone is being blamed as you see the finger being pointed. And you don't want to be a part. I'm going to put that up there. You don't want to be a part. You don't want to be a part of that. So if need be, Spirit is saying remove yourself. Remove yourself, okay? Yeah. Maybe with diet and veganism here. Maybe you are from a family or you're in a relationship, somebody is a vegan. Maybe you don't want to be a vegan. Okay. It's not a debate about what's healthier, what's better, or what verse you've seen in the Bible to support it. And it's not about that. It's about, are you happy? You could be in a relationship or dating someone who is a vegan, and there's nothing wrong with being a vegan, a pescatarian, whatever, a breatharian, whatever you are. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying that I'm speaking to someone who's dating someone who could be a vegan, or maybe your family are all vegans and they want you to do so. It's okay for them to want that for you, but do you want it, and are you happy? So maybe you need to speak up and not be quiet. Hey, you guys are vegans. I'm not. Can you leave me alone with that ish? And if you're not, then I'm going to leave you alone, because you're not going to nag me every time I visit or every time you see me eating something. Okay. So yeah, I'm picking that up. Okay. For somebody, you're being very tolerant. Okay. You could be very attracted to this person that you're dating. You love everything except for that when it's time for y'all to eat. Maybe this person goes down the list, of why you should do this and why you should do that. And you dread it. It's coming, like, oh boy. I'm going on a date with so and so. I know we got salad tonight. That kind of energy. And I'm not saying something's wrong with salad. This is the message that I am channeling. This whole message is about standing in your authenticity and not tolerating and pretending that you're okay, and it's not okay. It's not. You could be someone feel like you're being taken advantage of, and it's time to speak up. Yeah, you could feel that this person is a true love. You like everything but how they critique you about what you eat. This could be also someone critiquing you about your weight as well. Okay. People have free will to live and look however they want to. Okay. But maybe it bothers you. Be careful with that. Be careful with that, especially if you're dating them and you're at the beginning and they're body shaming you. Be careful with that. To each his own, you have free will, but be careful. Be careful. I'm going to say choose wisely. Be careful. Yeah, someone could be, very religious. Okay. Look, it says religious devotion. Someone could be critical, of what your religious devotion is. It says reverent. It says mystical. okay, which could relate to spirituality. It says evangelical, okay, or extremist, okay. Extremist is an unorthodox belief. And so, religious devotion, we're speaking about this. There could be people maybe critiquing your belief system. Maybe you do tarot, okay, maybe you do divination, maybe they're trolling your account. There could be people watching you from other people's accounts and gathering and gossiping about what you do. It's coming through. I have to bring it up, not because I do tarot, but it's coming through. There could be somebody trolling your account. You're on social media and they could be criticizing, and when they see you in person, they don't mention it, but on low key, I don't know, they watching you from another account, collective. They watch you from another account. And if it's not you, maybe you have a friend or someone who does divination online and they have a platform and they're being trolled, they're being watched. You could be being watched by neighbors, family, friends, many people, and there are people watching you and gathering and chattering and gossiping about you. And they don't want you to know that they're watching. I would tell them like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. But they could be being very critical of what you do. They could be demonizing it. They could be criticizing. Oh, where they get the messages from? The messages ain't real. That is dark and evil. Did you see the collective what they post today? They could be all in the conference room talking about you. And just a message. Yeah, somebody trolling your account. Maybe you just started doing tarot. Maybe you're thinking about it, or you could know somebody that has a platform. It comes with it. People are going to troll. People are going to be critical. I mean, let them criticize because they're talking to themselves. And that's why I say you have to be mindful of your words and your thoughts, because when you're speaking, you're also speaking to yourself. That's the fun fact about life that people don't know. But I'm picking that up that somebody is watching and also gathering and showing other people. Ooh, look at the collective. Look, I told you she do tarot. I told you he do tarot. I told you they read cards. Ooh, look at the pictures. Look at their name. This them, this them. That's hilarious. That's funny. That is funny. Yeah. And we have volcano explosion, okay? So these people who are chattering, they're hoping to create a ripple effect in your life. They're hoping, when only in reality, they're only revealing who they are and how they feel about themselves. They're focused. They're focused on you. They're condemning and criticizing, and nobody cares. Collector, I'm pretty sure you like. Look, I don't care, but thanks for the message, lady. Look, they're hoping to create a volcano or a ripple effect, but what is for you won't pass you by. There's nothing they can do about it. There's nothing they can do about it. But keep gathering and whispering and gathering and whispering. And these may be also people who trolls your account. Even if you don't do divination or tarot, you may just have a page. They may look at your videos and then try to throw a backhanded shot, say something slick to you when they see you in person, because they're watching. And instead of saying, oh, I seen what you post, or I seen your channel, these are weird people. These are people who will mirror you. These are also people who are low vibrational, because it is nothing to say, hey, I recognize you, I saw you, or I saw your page. But there are people who are so diabolical and emotionally and spiritually disheveled that they will tiptoe, thinking they're creating a ripple effect like this volcano. They think they're creating some kind of motion when they're only driving themselves dizzy. What is meant for anybody, collective, no one can stop or take from you. Okay? No one. If you're meant to be an executive chef, well, guess what? You're going to be an executive chef. People are going to like your food. They're going to come to the restaurant, or if you have a catering business, you're going to expand on that. Okay, somebody must be a cook watching. Hey, you, because I'm just going straight to food. Or you eating some food, or you a great cook, or you thinking about starting that catering business. But what someone has for you, they can't stop it. They can choose to be critical. They can gossip. They can huddle. They can troll under fake accounts. They can throw little shots, little backhanded comments, and hoping you catch on. And no, the collective catch on. The collective just don't care. Just don't care, Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Position of authority, power, fame or recognition. See, look at spirit. See, fame or recognition, position of power. Okay, someone is concerned about a loss of power because when you step into the room, collective, your energy and aura is intimidating. You're very influential, very smart. You know how to communicate effectively and efficiently. And this could also intimidate a person in particular or a group of people. This could be the person huddling. Oh, look at the page. Did you see what they post today? You see the collective post? This person is hyper focused. I'm getting a group of people who are hyper focused. They have a fixation, a fixation. Okay, when you step in a room, they feel powerless. And not because, this is some fly ish for me to say to you. No, that's what I'm picking up. When you step in a room without saying anything, this person or these people feel powerless. There are also some people who could be intimidated, like afraid of you. Why, I don't know, but they're afraid of you. Okay. Now we all are reflections. You see that banner on my page, reflections. That banner is there for a reason, and I was going to change it, but no, I'm not changing it because I ain't through with it. We all are truly reflections of each other. And the fun fact about a hater, a troller, an insecure person, a minion, someone who wants to make a ripple effect, that thoughts become things, and the more you focus on a person, the more things will occur for you to focus on. So basically, when people hyper focus on you who does not have your highest good in regard, they're helping you. I hope you caught what I just said. They're helping you. Thoughts become things. So you're so focused watching because they may feel powerless because you make them feel some kind of, they might be afraid you might become famous. You may receive some kind of worldwide recognition. Maybe they're afraid that your channel might expand. And I don't care if you got 10 subscribers, keep going. Keep going. You better not never stop. I don't care. You better take a nap and get up and post. I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell you if you ain't heard that. I don't care if you got 5 subscribers. You better take a nap and get up and post. What else you gonna do in this digital era? Okay, go within the flow of the change. Okay, yeah. So they may be afraid that you're going to get some kind of fame or recognition, or people be, and which is foolish. Which is foolish because anybody can start a platform. There are people with their pets who have platforms for their dog and their cat. There are dogs and cats. You can even put it in the search bar, collective, and you'll see there are people who pets have a large following. And there's nothing on the channel but the pet maybe playing outside, the cat or the dog playing with the bird. There's a squirrel with a channel, a couple of them, like real talk. So you can create however you choose to. But when you're innovative and you're someone who you're not shy, you're going to run into the energy that I'm speaking of. People who want to troll, people who want to secretly watch your channel, people who's going to gather and criticize, or people try to look at you like you mysterious because you're not thinking or moving like them. Now, we started the read off talking about that. Well, throughout the read, of there are some things going on and you don't want to be part of the group because you feel like it's not for you. You're not devoted. Now, this is religious devotion, but people want you to have a devotion to the trends, to the day-to-day mundane. And your life may be unorthodox. Your life may be different. They may be also be pocket watching you as well. There could be some envy and jealousy. Let's talk about it. People really making assumptions, and some envy and jealousy. So instead of them stating it, they do it through their actions. Now, be mindful. A person will smile at you every time they see you and have so much discord and hatred for you. I repeat, a person will smile at you and have so much iniquity in their hearts for you, hoping the worst, wanting to see you crumble, wanting to see you down, there are a lot of reasons, this comes up in the reads because it just is what it is. It's the duality of life, it's the polarity, you know, uh, but we are reflections of each other. So the funny thing is that, be careful what you hate because it just may pop up in front of you. That thing that you don't like. If you have a problem with being around beautiful people, male or female, a handsome man, a beautiful woman, someone who has a nice physique, let's talk about it. We all are different shapes and colors, and we all are beautiful, in my opinion. But if you're someone who has a problem with that, you don't want that cousin showing up. They got that nice physique. They look good in their shorts, and all the men are going to stare at them. If you have a problem with that, that's something you need to work on. If you have a problem with your spouse staring, they're going to look. That's normal. That's something you need to talk to your spouse about. If you have a problem, and men be jealous of men also. Men go through things too. Women ain't the only one. You have a problem because maybe you got a cousin who always show up fresh, or a sibling, whomever, a friend. He put that thing on every day. He look good. He smell good. He got the rim shining. The car smell good. The one that had like the 10 air fresheners hanging from the mirror, everything just be A1, and you may have some. We got to stop with the jealousy and the envy, and I got to talk about it. We can't be to the point where we're mad at someone and their aesthetics. Number one, it's time to move on. Things change aesthetically. Our looks, our features change, okay? And that's why you have to work on your confidence. I was speaking about that previously in a prior read collective. Go check it out. It's in the timeline. I did it today. You got to work on your confidence. You have to love you. You got a big forehead. You think a lot. I love my brain. My brain is beautiful. I have a big brain, so I have a big forehead. And I think a lot. I have a lot in my brain. So I love my forehead. And I don't need nobody else to love my forehead. But I love my forehead. You have to love every part of you. That pinky toe that won't lay the right way. You have to love that about you. It's so much insecurity. You cannot be mad at a beautiful person. Nobody talks about this, but I'm gonna say it. They talk about jealousy, but I'm about to go in some layers here. You can't be mad because you always wanted a flat stomach and somebody walk in with a six pack. Male or female, male or female. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You can't be mad because somebody got some perky. They perky, or they might have a good bra and they look good in their stuff. And it makes you feel some way because they chose to care about themselves. I'm bringing this up because this energy of you feeling socially oppressed and feeling socially obligated to be connected to people, places, things, and situations and ideas of living, being, doing, and existing that you're uncomfortable with is about confidence. But I'm also bringing this up because this person who may be possibly trolling somebody's account here, they're dealing with some insecurities. And I'm not talking about this to make somebody feel some kind of way. I'm talking about this because this is a problem. If you're really mad at somebody, because of the way they look, their aesthetics, that's crazy. It is. We are all God's creation. Like, who you mad at? Your mama or God? Who you mad at? Because we're all God's creation. Like, so when we attacking each other, who are we attacking? God is omnipotent, omnipresent. Like, who are we attacking when we choose to attack people? You don't have to get along with everybody. You don't have to kiss nobody's behind. Everybody not for you. If someone doesn't resonate, just simply don't entangle with them. But to spend your life mad and frustrated because somebody is nice looking, or they took time to iron their clothes today, or I just gotta say, people are happy when you show up with nappy hair. But if you comb your hair, and ain't nothing wrong with the coils, it becomes a problem. Male or female, fellas, don't cut your hair for 3 months. People love you. But if after them 3 months, you go take a shower and go put that thing on and get to smelling good and you flip the script, it's a problem suddenly. Like, this is something that needs to be talked about because it needs to stop. We have to work on our own confidence to feel good about yourself and to also speak up and let people know when you're not comfortable with something or you don't understand something or you don't agree with something. Or no, I'm not taking that up in college. I don't want that for a career. That worked for y'all. That ain't working for me. Or no, I don't want to go on that diet. I'll find a different one. Or how the food tastes. I really don't like it. They ask, right? And I'm not talking about being cold. We're talking about being honest with yourself. Because there's spirit is saying it'll make life less stressful. It's easier. Don't feel socially obligated to anyone. Don't feel that you have to follow something that's making you uncomfortable. There's a reason. There's a reason, especially I'm getting, if there's a tradition or something you are accustomed to follow and you're being nudged to go in a different direction, there's a reason for that. There are some people who have tried, and there's nothing wrong with that. When you're finding yourself in as an individual, there are people who have tried different religions, different cultural practices. There's nothing wrong with that. And maybe you've tried some that just don't work for you. People have to do what works for them. Why spend a life being miserable? There's no reason for that. Whoo. Spiritual questioning. I'm going to read them all. Usually people use these cards every one, but I'm going to read them all that apply. It says spiritual questioning, investigation, spying. I just said someone is lurking, watching your platform, watching your channel. Even if you don't speak, you may just load memes. You could be somebody that put funny memes or pictures. Look at me and the fam. Look, we ate lobster. We had crab boil. We went here. We went there. You may just spying. But this person or these group of people, when they see you, they just stare at you, but behind your back, they're huddling, critiquing, condemning, but they're actually condemning themselves because that is actually projection of how they feel about themselves. Okay? It says truth seeker, questioning of authority. Okay? You could be someone who questions authority, meaning you ask questions. When I say question of authority, I'm not talking about of the divine. You're someone who's not controllable. You're not easy to control. And people don't like that. When you ask questions, investigate, people don't like that. When you're confident, people don't like that. When you're independent, people don't like that. When you're happy, unfortunately, people just don't like that. Okay? Not all, but there's a large percentage. So you could be a truth seeker and you don't mind being boisterous. It says investigation and spiritual questioning. So this person, these people, or this person could be questioning who you are, especially if you do practice or study spirituality. Spirituality and religion is two different things. Two different things. Under the umbrella of spirituality, it is individual. It is individual. There is no duplication. It is individual. And I'm going to leave that right there. It's the individual path. It is individual. There is so much under the umbrella, but it's all about individuality and divine purpose, divine unique purpose and individuality, standing in your authenticity, not following anything out of fear, not following anything out of fear. Yeah, truth seeker. You could also, with truth seeker, be one of those people who in a group, you don't mind being boisterous or vocal about speaking the truth, revealing the truth. And people don't like that, especially if they're accustomed to keeping their mouth closed and sweeping things under the rug. Especially if this is someone who may have a religious belief. Maybe you are someone, it's coming up, let's talk about it, who may have a religious belief and you may have revealed something about their belief system, not to hurt them, collective, but this could be something that is honestly happened that is truthful. That could make a person mad, collective. They want you to stay like this. This is something they have been worshiping, tiding to, believing, honoring, participating, sacrificing. They could have this belief system their entire life, years, even as a small child for many. But when you show up, you're speaking on things that reveal the truth about what they're believing in. So while this person, ooh, hold on, collective. Ooh, this reading is, oh, wow, hold on, collective. Mm, 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 mm. So while this person is judging you about what you choose to believe and practice in worship or study, wow. They're actually concerned about your belief system, collective. This is deep. Because they know, ooh, hold on, collective. I got to figure out how to say this. These people know deep down inside, worldwide, there's a massive amount of them that what they have been believing in is not true. It's not true. And I'm not talking about God. I'm not talking about divine. Anything that is a religion is something that is practiced. There is some kind of inconsistency. There is some kind of inconsistency within them. This is like a person participating and showing up. I mean, being studious, being there every Sunday, doing tithes and offering. And we're not talking about the divine right now. We're talking about the cathedral and the people in it. And finding out, oh, this reading is taking a turn. That there's something going on that they don't agree with. And it is burdening. It hurts their heart. Okay, collective, it hurts their heart. But because it has been a long period of time, and I agree, it's like putting time on a job. Say you work at a job, you've been there 20 years, and all of a sudden you come in, things change after 20 years. You're going to be devastated. This is something they have been dedicated to. And so people are looking at you. Thank you, Spirit. People are looking at you, collective, as being brave. Woo! They are really wishing that they were as brave as you. You're outspoken. What you say do make sense, even if they don't agree with it. It's okay. It's okay. But you're very brave, and they wish that they were brave like you. And even those who may troll your account or who may huddle or sniggle and giggle, even if you're not on social media, it's in your walk, your talk, the life you live. You're doing something that is different, that is unorthodox. You're doing something that many would be afraid to touch because they have an interest in feeding the fears. What they have been worshiping all these years has taught them to fear, has taught them to fear. So really, these people feel powerless because in hindsight, they really admire how courageous you are. Now, that portion of the read is for that portion of the read, but there is still an energy here of people not speaking up for themselves and participating in people, places, and things and ideas that they're not in agreement with, and there's a need to speak up for yourself. But you're being courageous. So be mindful if you are watching this, because Spirit wants you to know this, to stay confident in who you are. If you are on social media, or even if you're not, who cares about anyone condemning your lifestyle? You are an adult, you take care of you, you are responsible for you, but you're responsible for your happiness. And this reading is talking about happiness. It's talking about being happy for real, not for play. Stay confident, collective. Don't allow the opinions or judgments of others to weigh you or woo you. There is nothing to fear. There are no coincidences. There's only confirmation. You're here on this channel because there's something here for you. And if this reading isn't you, this is somebody close to you. This is somebody you're in observation of. This may also be someone that a friend could be speaking to you about. Maybe you have someone coming to you whispering about something someone is doing that they don't agree with. There are people, as I stated earlier, who really feel that we're put here to imitate and duplicate each other, that everyone's life is supposed to mimic the next person. And there are people, be careful too, because people will try to get close to you knowing that they have a disdain for you. They have iniquity for you. They don't like what you stand for. They don't like who you are. They don't like your confidence. They don't like that you're intelligent. They don't like how you show up. They want you to just go along and get along and pretend like the others. They want you to just hush and buy into the programming. They want you to be quiet and just buy into it. Yeah, we know what we know what's real and what isn't, but we want you to shh, don't say nothing. And that's not what you represent. That's not what you represent. Yeah. Yeah, this person has been believing in whatever this is for a long time, but there's something going on within this organization that they're not in agreement of, but they're sticking with it and they're very uncomfortable. This could be many things. Okay? It has gestation period, adulthood, okay, teenage years, childhood, okay? They've been, and it says lifetime, they've been believing in this organization for a long period of time, and they're finding what they have been dedicated to. And when I say dedication, I'm talking about valedictorian dedication. Like showing up, doing it all, being under some kind of mental or spiritual programming, okay? Being under some kind of programming. There are people who tap into energy and manipulate energy, worldwide. It isn't a look. It isn't the person wearing a dashiki or have the crystals. It could be the very next person sitting next to you with their suit on. It could be that one, yeah. Mm-hmm. Woo. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm thinking of the Osiris energy here. It's all about, the weighing of the heart, What's in your heart? You know, when that time comes, we all have different ideas of who and what God is. Some people feel this is a person. Some people know that it's an energy, a frequency. We all have a difference of opinion. And your confidence, whoever you are, you're very confident, you're very smart and wise. And whatever you are showing or posting or doing for a career, you could also be some kind of a truth speaker. We have truth seeker here, investigation. Okay, you could also be uh, a truth speaker. You could be someone who go around doing, who's hired and may do lectures on spirituality, okay, or some kind of spiritual practice. You could do some kind of teaching. You could also be someone who hosts classes as well. And also, it's coming up. This person who is critiquing and condemning you is also is finding they may have received. This person may have even dreamed about you, collective. They may have astral traveled and dreamed about you. They're also finding that what they have been condemning is not what they thought. This is like a reality check. This reading is fire. I like it. I really like it. It's turning into something so beautiful. It is. It started out as thorns, but here comes the rose, collective. They're finding out, you know, um, that what they were taught is not all true. I'll say that they're finding out what they were devoted to. Doesn't matter what your belief system is. All are welcome on this channel always. Okay, but they're finding out there's been a misjudgment. Basically, there's been a misjudgment. Uh, yeah. Now, this person may move along and try to persuade people, to do this and do that. But when it comes to you in particular, this person is going through an unlearning, and it's happening naturally. You never know. I've said this a lot of times, and you've probably heard what I'm about to say, but it's so true. You cannot take for granted people who cross your path. Some come for a long time, some come for a short time. Some may be in your presence for a minute, for a second. But a person can be put in your pathway for a reason. You could be, the divine could be sending you to cross the path of a person for a reason. And it doesn't have to be negative. Sometimes it could be positive. It could be to enlighten you. You may be meant to cross these people these people or this person who's judging you and probably spying and huddling over you for a reason, and to enlighten them, for them to stop with the misjudgment. Not that it's bothering you, because it's not stopping anything. It's really helping you. It really is. Because thoughts become things. And so they're really like helping you manifest positive things in your life. That's a whole nother video. Yeah, they really are. And that's a good thing. But it was meant for you to strategically cross the paths of these people. Even if, these are people, like I say, they're annoying to you. Maybe they're always complaining or whatever, condemning or whatever it is. It was meant. Don't take it for granted. For you to be in each other's presence and path. If there's something to learn, and they're learning that there's misjudgment. Mm-hmm. They don't have to agree with all of who you are, but they know that you're not who they want to condemn you to be. They know that, you know. Uh, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so this person or these people, may have astral traveled and received information, confirmation, not information, of who you are, and that the thoughts that they have towards you, you know, is really not is a mistake. It's a misjudgment. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, look at God. Mm-mm-mm. I love God. You don't love God? What's wrong with you? Love him, love him, love him, love him, love him. Look at that. Buddhist, mystic, hermit, Christian. Christian. So this person could have Christian faith or belief. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is the person who is or who has misjudged you. They're not going to verbalize it to you, but they receive some kind of information or confirmation that you're not, how can I say this? You're not the negative thoughts that they had of you. They receive that. And if it's not the whole group, one or two of these people know this. And they're not going to say it to you. And that's okay. Let it be okay. But they know what's up. They know it's all good. It's not, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing, collective. It's nothing. Okay? It's nothing at all. Everyone can have their own opinions, and it's okay. Okay? This is just a spiritual notification. Okay? Uh, all enlightenment, requires a witness. And so, you just never know. It's very important, and you could have been meant to cross their path to intrigue them. Because I just mentioned that they're finding out that what they have been believing in, it isn't working for them. It isn't working for them. Or they're not in agreement of it. And so, not saying they have to believe what you believe, just the mere witnessing, just witnessing you be yourself and not be afraid. You could be a true seeker, a true speaker. You could be in spirituality. You could be into something that is heavily criticized or demonized. And watching you be brave, I always get prompts. Watching you be brave, be bold, and be you could be intriguing this person. They don't have to follow what you do. They can, if they choose to go their own way that is fitting for them. You could be inspiring them and intriguing them. What better way, as I said in the previous read, could your ancestors and divine assist you with guiding you or nudging you and getting your attention than putting it right in front of your face? That it's okay for you to stand in your authenticity. Your divine purpose may not be to follow the program. Your divine purpose may be to be unorthodox or think outside the box or be innovative or do that different thing or, have a different career or a different lifestyle. It may be part of you breaking some kind of generational pattern as well. You never know where your goal lies. And it's a good idea to work on being around people who are of indifference, whether it's culture, whether it's race, whether it's belief system, whether it's a wonderful idea. I know everyone may not be able to conquer that, but if you can, it's a beautiful thing to be able to be cordial with people who are not like you, who don't have the same belief system as you, but not try to force them into anything either. Don't try to dump your ideas into anyone's lap and they're not interested. They didn't ask. They didn't ask. And the secret sauce boss When you want to gather the people, when you want to increase the congregation, is not to force. You be light. You be you. And that person out of nowhere, just give an example because I've seen it happen and it's beautiful, may choose to maybe, you know what, well, you know what, maybe I'll come to the cathedral with you. But when you are ridiculing, condemning, tearing someone down, you'll make them flee from you. The sauce boss, the sauce is to not even push it. Just be you. And if that person is interested in showing up to cooking class, they'll be there with their apron on, ready to learn how to cook. That's the metaphor. They're watching you achieve a beautiful life. I'm picking up you're someone who's very charismatic and you're always in good spirits. And there's something about you people know is not fake. And when I say always in good spirits, I'm not talking about being perfect. You are optimistic. Stuff be going on, but you like, I'm going to be optimistic and trust God. Next. That's your energy. Next. How you doing today? How you been? How the kids doing? You know, you're not dwelling on the negative. Okay. So yeah, they're watching you accomplish. They're watching you be a achiever. Here's celebrity again. Here's celebrity again. And I just said someone is concerned possibly with you receiving some kind of fame or recognition. So there's something here, collective. You know, whatever you are doing, keep going. Keep going. Because something is happening for you. It says fame, recognition right there. Your power is established. And then it says celebrity right here. Celebrity, achiever, accomplishment. This is something that could be headed your way that you're not expecting. And the divine works like that, you know. We don't need to know the end all be all, but whoever you are, keep doing what you are doing. Don't stop. Don't stop till you get enough. Don't stop till you get. Don't stop. Keep going. Believe in yourself. Keep showing up for you. Okay. Yeah. You have a lot of faith. You could be someone who's into natural herbs as well. You have a lot of faith. You could be into natural herbs. You could be someone, you know, your sea moss, your chlorophyll, you know. Mm-hmm. You're into that natural thing, okay? Mm-hmm. Your ginger. You know, it's not that you don't have a physician. You don't mind getting and mixing up some things. You know, that's that mystic energy. Okay. Your different teas, your lavender. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. With dark magic and the devil here, yeah. This person, you know, has spent a life feeling, thinking, and being taught that people like you know, may be attached to some kind of dark energy. And they're learning that it's all a lie. They're learning that it's all a lie. You know, Damon is only present when you want Damon to be present. Thoughts become things. So when you ask for Damon to be present, Damon will pop up into your life. This person is finding this out. Everything I'm saying to you, they're finding this out. Mm-hmm. 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 And they may feel like whomever has taught them this or whomever tutelage they have been under, they may feel like they've been cheated out of something, you know, like, wow, you know. There's so many awakenings happening collective in general, worldwide, all over in different areas, you know, economically and also personally in people's lives, personally, individually. There are people coping with things, getting a reality check and aha moments about what is and what ain't. And some of these things could be devastating, you know. You could be an artist, you know, maybe you work with your hands. Keep creating, keep building, post it online, start a website, you know, have an art exhibit, you know, do that thing. Do that thing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Keep going. There's something uh here for you surrounding success and stepping out on faith, you know. Uh yeah, like real faith, not the program faith. Yeah, I just had to say it as part of the message. Not the program kind, the real faith. Okay? Yeah, there's something here for you, you know, because you're willing to explore. You know, you are really spiritually connected to the divine, and you've chosen to be brave. You've chosen to step out on faith. You know, you're on a path that is less traveled. You know, you have passed the test, and I see you moving forward and being successful. And being successful. Mm-hmm. 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 It's a difference, you know. Spirit knows when a person is joining something out of fear or tradition or what somebody told them what's going to happen if they don't do this. The divine knows. You can't you can't fool you cannot fool the divine. You cannot fool God. You cannot. Spirit knows if you are joining or associating yourself with anything out of fear, or are you doing it for wholehearted reasons? You never want to make decisions out of fear. That could be very risky. Yeah, fall of civilization, corruption, fall of civilization. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this person is really, you know, battling because they have been a true servant of some kind of organization. But they are now having a reality check of what's what and who's who. And, you know, may they be led and pivot in a direction that is best for them and their highest good. Collective, I hope you receive this reading and I hope you utilize it for your highest good. There are no intentions on this channel but for you to be enlightened, to find a spark within yourself. There are no other intentions. I deliver the message as they are conveyed to me. There are people who need to hear confirmation. And there are people who also need to know that they're not alone on how they're feeling, what they are enduring or experiencing. Just having the confirmation that you're not alone could really help people, you know, in a major way. You know, you could help a person and give them reassurance that it's not just them, you know, that things are going to be okay. So this is not a channel where we make up stories or I'm on here saying things because I want to throw a backhanded shot at anyone. All these messages on here are spiritually led, okay? There are no other intentions here. So hopefully you receive this message for your highest good. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm pretty sure you'll love the vibe, okay? Give me a thumbs up. Tell a family, friend, or foe, or you know, to come on over and subscribe to the channel so that they can be privy to these spiritual notifications. There is enough space in this place for everyone to be spiritually notified. Later.